One of the most underutilized resources, in my opinion, for many beginner genealogists and even some seasoned genealogists is the local library. Here are 10 ways that your local library can up your genealogy game. We'll start with the most obvious. Number 1, the collections. Most likely, the first resource you think of when I mention the library are the print resources. There are a variety of books that can be useful for your research, including research guides, county histories, periodicals, how-to guides, and family histories, among plenty others. Often there are microform and map collections that can also be used as useful research aids. I highly recommend checking out the websites for your local library and even your county library to see what kind of genealogy information and resources that they offer. There will usually be finding guides available that cover the best ways to access the collections and databases and how their resources might be helpful to your research. Number 2, genealogy research assistance. The library is full of staff willing to help and guide you in your research. They're there to help you access the collection and make the best use of it, even if you're not sure how to do that just yet. They want you to be successful and find what you're looking for, so don't be afraid to ask questions. I lived in Carlsbad for almost 5 years, happily going to the library to check out books without realizing what an incredible genealogy resource was right under my nose. Not only does this library have the second largest genealogy collection in Southern California, but the staff of passionate genealogists are always there to help answer any questions, and they might even guide you to some resources that you didn't even know you needed. Working there, we would get all kinds of questions from patrons, like how to build a family tree, how to use the microform collection, how to understand and analyze DNA results, how to break down a brick wall, and we enjoyed working with people on their research. Even if the librarian at your local library isn't a genealogist, they can still be incredibly helpful. They can do lookups for you if you can't go to the library yourself. When I was researching marriage laws in Wisconsin to figure out why my grandparents went to Milwaukee to get married instead of getting married in Chicago, I was having a hard time finding the information on my own. I decided to reach out to a librarian at the Milwaukee Public Library, and within a few hours, I received an answer and the source documents confirming the exact information that I needed. And the mystery was solved. It was because my great-grandma was 15 years old, and by Chicago laws, they couldn't marry, but an hour-and-a-half drive to Milwaukee, and suddenly they could legally marry at the time. I spent hours searching online for that specific local law, and she was able to find it for me right away. Number 3, genealogy subscriptions. Did you know you can access paid genealogy sites for free using the library's subscriptions? Sites like Ancestry Library Edition, Newspapers.com Library Edition, Fold3, Find My Past, American Ancestors, and more. Depending on the terms for the subscription that the library has with each service, you can access these databases either from home or on site. Some of them you are required to be there at the library to access. But this is huge. This is instant access to thousands of records online, and you don't have to pay a cent. It's a great way to locate sources for your ancestors and download them for free on a wide variety of genealogy websites that you would otherwise have to pay for. It's also a great way to access the different platforms and see which ones that you like, which ones you might actually want to purchase a subscription for yourself. Aside from online genealogy subscriptions, libraries also have genealogy magazine subscriptions that are full of valuable information as well, such as the Family Tree magazine, American Ancestors, or the National Genealogical Society Quarterly. Genealogy magazines can be a great way to stay up to date with the latest in genealogy, brush up on some basics, and learn tips and tricks. You can access these subscriptions through the library either by their physical copies at the library or the digital copy that's offered online. Number 4, weekly genealogy classes. Check to see what classes are offered at your library. At the Carlsbad Library, we conducted our genealogy classes in a computer room of about 50 to 20 people, so they would need to sign up in advance, and then each week we would focus on a new genealogy subject using the computers. We would cover anything from ancestry research tips to focused New York research or conducting Scandinavian research. The classes are a great way to continue learning and honing your research skills. We also offered classes outside of the computer room, like a DNA Foundations class for those that were just getting started with DNA research, and an intermediate genealogy class for those who felt like they had mastered a lot of the beginner's basics and were ready to take it to the next level. Each of these classes would be taught with a handout, and those handouts would be posted online as well. Those are a great learning resource too. You don't even have to necessarily have had taken the class to be able to learn something from the handouts themselves. Each handout would go into detail, step by step, to let you know how to cover America's historical newspapers, for example, or to find your Revolutionary War patriot. No matter where you are in your genealogy journey, there's always more to be learned, and these classes are a great way to do just that. Number 5, genealogy presenters. Check to see who will be visiting your library to speak about genealogy research. This is another great way to learn some unique skills from professionals. At Carlsbad, we teamed up with the local historical society to do this at least once or twice a month. We hosted a guest speaker who presented on a genealogy topic or strategy. So we had Cece Moore come speak about some DNA case studies, Thomas McKenty discuss DNA test results, Blaine Bettinger on reconstructing your genetic family tree, and Kitty Cooper talked about new tools for DNA cousin matching. Number 6, genealogy workshops. Workshops are a more hands-on option where you bring in your computer and research materials and learn about a particular research skill. Then you get hands-on assistance applying your newly learned skills to your research. So maybe you learned how to use DNA Painter for the first time, and then you're given the time to work on what you learned, how to apply it to your research, and you can ask any questions that might come up while you're doing that for the first time. So there are a lot of different learning options at the library. The genealogy classes are sort of a follow along on the computer type format. The presentations are an opportunity to listen to the guest speaker and then ask questions after. And then the workshops are the more hands-on, more independence, where you can take the time to work on and ask specific questions about your research needs or your research projects. Number 7, genealogy interest groups and clubs. Interest groups typically meet once a month or so at the library. It's a great way to gather with people who are passionate and excited about genealogy and want to share that with like-minded people. At Carlsbad, we had DIG meetings, and DIG stood for DNA Interest Group. So anyone who wanted to learn about DNA research and share their discoveries or collaborate on a challenging brick wall would meet up monthly. Once you start getting involved in all the classes, workshop, presentations, interest groups, you'll probably start recognizing the other people attending them as well. People of all backgrounds and skill levels who gather together to discuss their joint interest, researching dead people. It's not just a great way to learn more about genealogy, but it's a great way to get involved with your community, work together, learn from one another, and make friends with those who share similar interests. Number 8, genealogy equipment. This could be a photo scanner to scan and save your family photos and negatives, a book scanner to scan and save pages from the genealogy reference collection or other books that are on site, even fragile family history items that can't be scanned on a flatbed scanner. A microform scanner could be there so you can view, scan, print, or save images from the microform collection. And of course, computers with internet access to the online databases where you can conduct genealogy research. Number 9, MakerSpace and digital labs. If your library has a dedicated MakerSpace and digital lab, you might not only have the option to digitize family videos and preserve family heirlooms, but you could also make some really cool family history projects. As genealogists, we're always looking for new ways to use, display, and share our research and family history. At the MakerSpace Lab, you can get creative using the 3D printer, a 3D scanner, laser engraver, a t-shirt press, embroidery machine, or the large format printer. So You can have some fun, create a three-dimensional digital file of your ancestor, engrave your family name on something, create a video about a family member using the Adobe Creative Cloud software that they offer for free. You could create a banner of your growing family tree. You could even create stickers with your family crest. There are so many creative ways to preserve and celebrate your family's legacy here. The last resource that I want to touch on is number 10, online learning portals. Libraries offer access to a variety of online courses that you can use to add to your genealogy knowledge and research skills. Programs like Creative Bugs, Skillshare, Gale courses, and Great Courses, they all offer ways to learn more about strategies, skills, or programs that can aid you in your research. For example, learning tips and tricks on how you can use Excel for your research logs, or Word for your research reports, or any of the Adobe products. So you could learn all about how to create a video for your ancestor that you've just finished researching. Even if you feel like you have gotten very comfortable with Excel or Word or the Adobe products, they offer beginners, intermediate, and even advanced courses, so you never know what you could potentially learn from these courses. There are courses on organization or writing courses, so you can work on writing your family history as well. There are so many options and so many skills to learn or strengthen that will help you in genealogy overall. And there you have it, 10 ways that your local library can be a tremendously valuable and helpful genealogy resource. And it's free. I mean, how can you not love the library? It's a quiet, clean space for you to research comfortably, surrounded by books and resources, endless learning opportunities, friendly people who want to help you, and it has such a strong connection to the community. So what are you waiting for? Go check out your local library today and see what they offer. If your library doesn't have some of these options, you can always check out your local historical society or join a genealogical organization like the National Genealogical Society or the New England Historic Genealogical Society. My next video will cover where to start looking for records and information when you're ready to begin researching. But until then, I'm wishing you all a lovely weekend, and thanks for watching.